Hey everyone, it's your host, your girl Yasha, back with you again. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. And today, our podcast title would be Branding 101. Okay. And this is episode 434. Stay tuned as we delve into content for today's discussion. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
Hello, guys. Hey, Mike. All
What's
right.
up,
So
Yasha?
again, yes. Hello. How are you? It's been a long time.
I know, I'm sorry. We actually missed a week of the episode.
Yeah.
Our editor, Alvin's great. And he's like, hey, Mike, where's the intro for this? And I was like, oh, so I feel so bad. I don't like to miss. I think I try to be on time.
Yeah.
But we missed a week. So this is a week delay, but I should.
Hmm.
I'm still recovering. Honestly, I'm getting old,
You-
Yasha. I'm getting old. I'm a dad. I'm old. Just too much travels.
You've been working, you've been traveling, you've been very busy, and lately you have this branding 101. Can you tell us more about that? And you went to Hanoi for that, am I
Yeah,
right?
this was in Hanoi. So the third or maybe fourth stop of this multi-city trip, Hanoi, Vietnam in the north. My second time to that city. And we did it with Amazon Global Selling as well as World First to put together a workshop in person. There was about, I don't know, about 100, maybe like 70 sellers, like local
Oh, that's a
Vietnamese.
lot.
And it was in both English and Vietnamese. We had a really amazing interpreter there interpreting my English every couple of slides.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it was in the morning, just in the middle of June, towards the middle of June 2024. So people really liked it. We got some teaser videos and some pictures. Maybe we just make sure that our
You had
we
a
should
very
put
good
this also. You saw
audience.
those, right? Yeah, it was packed. It was in like a second floor of like a
It's full.
of
The
like a nice
place is-
cafe called Showtime.
Yeah, it was
So
really
So yeah, I mean, we did that, and so this will be the English only version. We'll chop out the Vietnamese, but maybe Alvin can keep the
Oh.
Vietnamese version for our Vietnamese community that's growing.
Oh, so you made like an English version and Vietnamese version. Well, that makes sense in my head because yeah, at least for the Vietnamese part, then they can keep it in
Yeah,
Vietnam.
so yeah, we basically our editor Alvin, he'll cut out the Vietnamese clips, but basically I did a few slides and then I paused and then our Vietnamese interpreter did the Vietnamese of my speech. And then I went back. So we'll cut out the Vietnamese of this podcast because this is an English language podcast. But I think we should keep the Vietnamese version as
Right.
well, but it'll be on another channel. So,
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed this Hanoi trip. Pretty sure about that.
yeah, it was intense. Like there's a lot of sellers in Vietnam on Amazon e-commerce and print on demand. I learned a lot. Maybe in our blah blah blah, I call after this session, you and I could chat about what I learned in Hanoi for those interested about the sellers and the community. But for now, maybe we get into the show. But also the Cross-Border Summit, as we've been working really hard on for November.
Right.
We'll have some of these people we met coming from Vietnam over, and
Mhm.
it'll be fun. We had some last year too, so it was also great for that. But if people aren't aware, Cross-Border Summit is November 3rd, 4th, 5th in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Yeah, that's
But-
right. Tickets are still on sale, guys.
Yeah.
30%. Save. Go buy and save your money.
Yeah, it's always people always wait to the last minute. I don't know. I know people want to keep their options open, but we have a great deal still open right now, so people can
Yeah.
snag that. But let's get into the workshop. It'll
All
be
right,
the
go.
English only, and then after we can chat more about Hanoi, Vietnam, and Vietnam more.
I would love that.
Yeah,
Okay, let's go.
tune in. Are you looking for USA banking solutions for your e-commerce business? I am proud to say Mercury.com is supporting the podcast here 3rd year in a row at Global from Asia, and we're proud to say it because we use them ourselves for many of our own Amazon brands and e-commerce brands and joint ventures with our US structures, and they're super easy to do, online application, no fees, and they have great customer support, have helped us with trouble with Amazon Seller Central over the years about some receipts and statements and everything like that. So we're so happy to say thank you, Mercury, for supporting our show, being a great service and supporting other e-commerce sellers. We're really proud to say they're a sponsor here, and we also have a video tutorial as well as an overview and a special link with a little bonus for you as well for us under certain conditions. Check it out at globalfromasia.com/Mercury for that information. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Mercury.
Good morning, everyone. And I'm sure they said great things. Sorry, my Vietnamese is, I'm still a student. I need to learn Vietnamese, so I'm sure they said great things. I hope you're all awake and ready to go. Yes? Ready? Ready? All right. Let's go. I'm recording this. I'm going to try everything. Everything is branding, right? So try to make the most of everything we do. Okay, next slide. So what are we going to cover today? I'll be honest, I'm worried about my time. We have a lot to cover. As we said, this is 101, so there's going to be 102 and 103. And of course, this could be a whole course in itself. So today we're going to focus a little bit about my story. We're going to go into what is a brand, why make a brand, when to start branding, and then ways to and where you can apply branding. Okay, a bit about me. Sorry, it's a little bit small, but I started selling on eBay in 2003 when I was in Wall Street, New York City, and I always wanted to do my own business. Nobody in my family knew how to do business. Nobody in my school, nobody in my network. So I learned by making tons of mistakes, almost every mistake you could maybe make, but I believe it's about persevering. I'm reading a leadership book now. It's all about learning and growing and just improving. That's what life is about. I'm American, and I am Italian, French, Canadian, and Russian. So Americans are all mixed up from everywhere. And I came to China in 2007 for sourcing from factories for my e-commerce business. That's the quick one. And I love blogging. I love podcasting. So this will become a podcast on Global from Asia. I also have memberships, Gladiator series, because we're gladiators to do e-commerce. Joint ventures, I have 4 brands right now, and some are JVs. And we do events, Matchmaker Expo and a Cross-Border Summit, which will be in Thailand. Actually, many people want me to come to do it in Vietnam. Hopefully, maybe next year in Vietnam. So it would be great. I'd love to have you. So I built brands publicly. So E-Commerce Gladiator was a public showcase of building a brand from zero to sale. So we built this with some of our community, and it was a coffee pot brand made in China, and we made content and a book about it. It's called Sisitano. I sold it right before COVID in 2019. Next. And currently one of my brands is Excalibur Brothers. This one I do have a case study, I think in 102. I'll go into more detail. I'll mention it a little bit today too. But Excalibur Brothers is a men's gift brand on Amazon, mostly bought from Chinese factories. Okay, so now the first W, what is a brand? Next slide. Everybody knows this guy? The big boss he's retired now or moving on, but the big boss, Jeff Bezos started Amazon. It's I like this quotation. So the brand is what other people say when you're not there, right? You can say you're the best, your product's the best, your service is the best. A brand could be, of course, a product like Amazon or e-commerce, but it's also a personal brand. Like I try to build my personal brand, sharing with you. There's also service brand to deliver services to people. It's what people think of, the feeling in their hearts or in their mind when they think of your name, brand name, person's name or company name, right? Or product name. What do they think? Good, hopefully good, right? And what people are attracted to your brand. So another way of saying a brand is food. Food. We're gonna have some food later. So World First is feeding us, and thank you. It's about giving things to your community, giving content, giving value, giving experiences to your community. Next slide. To feed the audience, right? So a lot of Amazon sellers, they think they don't need to make content, right? They think they just make a good product and they put it on Amazon and they do PPC and they get customers. Many many sellers don't think they need content or they don't need branding, right? And I hope today I can maybe give you some motivation that you do need content, that you do need to feed your audience. Sure, you could just put a good picture on your Amazon and sell with good PPC and SEO, but branding is about content. It's about giving food to your audience to feed them so that they like you, trust you, understand you, connect with you. Next slide. So again, if you don't have food, you don't have a brand. It's like you're starving your audience, right? Like if you don't, on TikTok or on Twitter or even on Amazon posts, if you're not regularly feeding or posting your content, you're not sharing, you're not feeding people, they're going to forget you, right? All the algorithms are like this. Google, Amazon, YouTube, TikTok, any of them. If you're not posting, you're being forgotten. And it's important for you to, I think of it as food. You're feeding your audience. You're feeding people to keep them to know you, right? To understand you. So a little story, I was here preparing for this presentation, and we worked really hard, Tao worked really hard, and everyone here, Emily, we were reviewing this for you today a lot. So I added this, but I was in eMart, and I saw No Brand. Do people know No Brand here? Some people here like No Brand. I'd never seen No Brand before. Never seen it before? But if you go to the next slide, so right here is No Brand TM. TM, which means trademark, or I guess it's maybe not registered. R is actually registered. So I didn't check if they have a registered trademark, but they're definitely making sure that people know this is a brand. So I thought this was so funny because I'm preparing for a branding 101 today, and I'm working hard to make it more simple and more easy to understand. And I go shopping and I see this, I look it up, there's eMart, and it's a whole line of products called No Brand. And I'm really amazed. Next slide. So I was Googling it, and it's so confusing because the AI, I have AI plugin, we'll talk about AI later, but it's talking about what a no brand is, like no brand, right? And then it's talking, Google snippet says sold under a store. Basically it's saying what a no brand is, like as not this brand, but a no brand. So I don't know why this company spent so much, because they spent time making this, and maybe, but I guess it worked because I'm speaking about it to you. Maybe you're going to go buy No Brand later, maybe. But so I got some candy. Maybe we'll give some away. It's not enough for everybody. Maybe we'll do some giveaway later. But I was pretty amazed preparing for this today. So it's a No Brand brand. No Brand brand. So this is a 101 today. So what is a brand? I hope this is helpful. I put it in a few different ways, right? We started with Jeff Bezos saying what other people say about you, right? It's easy to say I'm the best, my product's the best, et cetera, but it's hard to get other people to say it about you when you're not there, right? So food for the audience, so content, media, education, right? Educating, feeding. Audience is a community, right? So you're a community of sellers, maybe suppliers here. I'd love to get to know you more, but you're a community, and No Brand is a brand, which I thought was kind of funny, but hopefully that'll help you maybe remember. They spent a lot of time making a No Brand brand. So that's my what is a brand first part of this session today. All right, so we finished what is a brand, so why make a brand? Next. Do you like money? Who likes money?
Yeah.
Everybody? Okay. Actually, some hands not raised, so if you want to give me your money later, you can donate. Next. So brands are money, right? Of course, you probably know all these companies or most of these. Of course, we would assume Apple is the biggest, most valuable brand in the world. This is some data research, 500, what is this, billion or trillion? I think it's a billion US dollars. So Apple is not valued by the inventory, right? It's not valued by how many factories it has. It's not valued by how many employees it has, right? So a lot of times I talk about Apple with Foxconn. I think Foxconn moved a lot to Vietnam, I think, right? So Foxconn's a Taiwanese headquartered OEM manufacturer, and they make Apple iPhones, Apple products. So they're not the brand, right? Apple is the brand. It's hard I could spend a lot of time on this section, but basically the most valuable part is the brand. And people don't understand what is the brand because it's not real, right? It's not workers, it's not factories, it's not product, it's this intrinsic value of people's value of this product. Okay, next slide. So I was preparing for today a lot, and the thing is, I do brand from day one. If I do any business, you notice I had a lot of brands, right? The first thing I think of is a brand name. And I think Emily and Tao and others preparing for this thought it was important for me to share that with you today, because I think maybe in Vietnam some of you don't do the brand from day one. But for me, since the beginning, I always think of a brand because it's the most valuable part of the business, and I think about it as soon as possible. As soon as I can, I think about the brand. It's not like a later do. And I know, I modified it. We spent a lot of time on this. I hope this is helpful. So sometimes you have trouble thinking of a name. Sometimes you maybe are a Vietnam company or Vietnam factory, so you translate it to English. That normally isn't the most effective unless you have a brand strategy that relates to that. But like this is a free tool, leandomainsearch.com. You can put in some keywords and it gives you domain names. I like to kind of try to match my domain to my brand if possible. So this could be like a free tool for you. We'll also give you some PDF later with these links, so you don't need to worry. We'll give you the links. But this can give you some ideas of brand names. But whenever I start any project, any kind of website, business, product brand, I think about not domain, but the name. And I try to get a domain too if I can. So I can't think of anything more valuable than a brand, right? If you believe Apple and these others, their most biggest value is the brand name, right? And especially with AI, we'll talk about AI later. AI is scary. I mean, it's good and it's bad, but I think it's going to really even make brand more valuable. It's going to make brand even more popular. And because everything else will be able to be copied. AI cannot copy a brand. Of course, there's going to be black hat AI and white hat AI. I don't get into that, but most AI will not copy brand, right? They'll say, oh, this is a trademark, this is IP, I cannot copy this brand. So, anybody want to take a guess what this is? Forest. It is a forest. It's evergreens trees. So I don't know if they have these in Vietnam, but they're popular in the U.S. and they last hundreds of years. I was in California in the redwood forest, and they have the redwood trees that grow so tall, and they're so big. Maybe it's even as big as maybe this room, maybe a little bit less. But the point I share this today is evergreen is long lasting. It lasts longer than me or you, right? So a brand is also evergreen. A brand, hopefully you can sell. There was a lot of aggregators and investors in the last few years in Amazon buying businesses, but they bought brands. They did buy some listings, but mostly they look for brands. But that's the value they wanted to buy. So this is something that can last a long time. So just to recap on why you like money, except a couple people here to donate to me later. And I make a brand from day one. I hope you start to think like that too. So I'll give you some name generation ideas like lean domain search. We'll go through some tools later. And AI is going to take everything else away. I think brands need to be even more valuable. The work's going to be less and less valuable. The brand's going to be more valuable. The work's going to be less valuable. And it's evergreen. It'll last the test of time. Of course, it's not easy to make, but it's valuable and it's long lasting. The third W is when. When to start. This is the shortest one. So when should you start branding? I don't know if somebody wants to guess. Does anybody want to guess? So there's a saying in Chinese, the best time to plant a tree is 100 years ago. I don't know if it's Chinese actually, but the second best is today, right? So of course, it's better to start already, but if you haven't started, start today. In a way, I say you already are, you just might not be doing a good job. I think no matter what, you're building somewhat of a brand. Maybe you don't have a name, or maybe you don't have a focus or a structure. So next slide. It's about organizing and making it a journey and a strategy, which we're going to get through today in the next W. So that's it, really quick one. So start now, or of course 100 years ago. You're already building a brand anyway, so you just got to organize and strategize about it. But this is just a short one. We're going to get into the meat in the next W. Okay, so now this is, I think you're probably going to like this part more. Ways to start a brand. So the fourth W, which will probably be most of our time, ways to start branding, ways to do it. So I hope you're convinced branding is important. Yes? I hope, yes? You like money, right? So, okay. There's so much to do. I can't cover everything of how to make a brand, right, in a fourth section of a 101. But of course, this is why there's content, influencer, KOL, media, PPC, community building, affiliates, calls to action. So we'll go into this in 102, 103, and this can go on for your whole life. I'm still learning. But anybody know him? Gary Vee. Yeah, Gary Vee. I learned a lot from him. He has YouTuber, he's a KOL, and he says we're all media companies, like micro media, mini media, right? Even before there was KOL or influencer words. But there's this merger of brand or product and media or content. Everybody needs to be a media company now, right? Everybody, and people, but of course brands, companies, they need to make their own media. They can't just pay a media company to do it for them. They need to be the media. And one of my favorite ways to stand out, and today, it's so hard today to do it because so many people are making content. And now there's AI content, right? So you can make AI content, like unlimited content now, right? So it's harder to stand out. So I like to say be real. Talk about stuff that nobody talks about. Talk about stuff that nobody wants to share, like secrets, documenting, right? Sharing the story, making people join with you. So I was at a barbecue here on Monday when I arrived to Hanoi, and the person that took me there says, I saw this on TikTok, this restaurant on TikTok, and I liked it because the owner did the video behind the scenes. He showed how they make the food, how they find the worker, how they teach their team to do the work, the hard part of managing the restaurant. So I wanted to come here because of the TikTok video. And he didn't say it directly, but what I'm saying is that person shared the story, right? He shared how they do it, why they do it. He didn't just say, buy my food, come to my restaurant, right? That's what a lot of people do naturally, like, buy my product, buy my product. He shows them how he made his product, how he does how he makes it, how he uses it, how the hard parts of it. So that's why his restaurant was I think, is because he shares his story. He doesn't just promote his business. He shares his story. That's the difference. I hope you could understand the story versus promoting. So for me, like, this is one of our brands, Plumipas. It's like dried flowers from Thailand. So we had some overstock problem. We had like a shipment that got lost in inbound into Amazon, and it actually expires because it doesn't last forever. So my team's like, we need to sell this faster because it's like a bigger delay, and we need to get this sold. So I made a video, and I show weakness. I especially think in Asia. So I'm married. My wife is Chinese, and she says, "Don't show your weakness in China. It makes you look like you don't have power or you're weak. You don't show your failure. You don't show your mistake." But that's what I do all the time. I don't know, like on my blogs, my videos, I like to share that. And if it makes me look weaker to certain people, then fine. I don't think that is the case. But I know in Asia, or at least in China, they don't like to share the mistakes. They don't, because it makes them maybe look like a bad leader, a bad business person. But I think it's okay. So it's your decision. But I share it. And then I say, we got our shipment got lost, help us. We give you some gift, give you discounts. I'm not saying like 30% off. I don't say just buy my product. I have a story. And there's so many ways you can do these stories, right? So you can do a story where you say, you can make it a joke. I don't really want to say I don't want to say lie, but even when I was a kid, there's a TV commercial. It's like, we're way overstocked and my team made a big mistake and bought too many products from the factory and we have to sell these now, right? You have to make a story. So this is actually the hard part, I'll be honest, but this is what works, the story. So when you're making these, you think about who. Who? It's another W, but it's not the W. Who are your customers? Next slide. People know this? Who's this? Or what's this? Avatar movie. Okay. So yeah, it's Avatar, but I'm talking about a different one. Next picture. Avatar. These are avatars. Customer avatars. This is marketing. I think a lot of people don't get this, and I know this is actually hard for being in Vietnam if you're selling in the USA, because you need to write, these are not probably your family in Vietnam, these are your USA customer. So I know that's a hard part for you, I know that, but you have to try your best to do this well. You have to know your customer, right? You're not selling to your Vietnamese neighbor down the street. They have some good food there, but you have to speak to the US customer if you're selling to the US. So this is like a worksheet. I'll give you this PDF too. It's in, I linked these all. This is just one part. This is called like an avatar worksheet. And if this is just one part, it goes very, very detailed. And I've done this for my brands. Think of your ideal customer. The name. So you give them a name. Like Joe, you can give them a last name. You can pick totally, and then you should use this name in your marketing, in your company. And you have more than one avatar, to be clear. Maybe you actually should have 3, but maybe start with 1. Are they man or woman? How old are they? A photo, and you can use AI or different things, like this is one I used, uifaces.com. You give them a photo. Right? You actually know this person. It's not a real person, but it's like your customer avatar. Are they married? Do they have children? What lifestyle? All these questions, right? What school, what job, what profession, their income. And this goes on for pages and pages. And the more you can answer these questions well, the better you can do marketing. And especially when you do Facebook ads or you do TikTok, they don't ask about keyword, right? Amazon is keyword, but social media is demographic or age, you're married, children, lifestyle, right? This is the questions on Facebook ads. This is Facebook ads. This is TikTok ads, right? This is not keywords. This is demographic. So it's not easy, I'll be honest, but you can start to develop this. Maybe you don't finish it the first time. Maybe you somehow do a survey of your customer. We'll show you some more tactics to try to get some data about your user, but you want to understand your user, right? So maybe you sell furniture, but do you sell to men or women? Kids, parents, teenagers, college students, right? Of course, you want to sell to everybody. You want to make lots of money, but if you sell to everybody, you sell to nobody. You want to know who you're talking to. So another saying I've started to make is, a lot of times in China, they would say, why is there no number 1 brand in China, right? Global brand, or why is there nobody? And I think of Xiaomi, and maybe they'll be number 1, maybe they are number 1 now with their cars and everything, but they would dress like Steve Jobs. The founder would dress like Steve Jobs, right? He wore the same jeans, the black sweater, the stores are like Apple stores, the products are like Apple products. They're following Apple. So they'll never be number 1. They'll always be number 2 because they're following Apple. They wait for Apple to do it, then they copy, right? So what I say is, if you follow your customer, you can be number 1, but if you follow your competitor, you'll always be number 2. And I'm not saying not to look and learn from your competitor. Of course, we learn from our competitor, but we have to go to go to be number one, we have to follow our customer. Know what our customers want. Know our customer. Make products for our customer, not copy our competitor's product. You can, of course, make a lot of money copying your competitors, and I'm not saying you can't, but I don't think you can ever be number one if you're copying your competitor. So that's the difference. So idea generation. So I know this is a challenge. I'm trying, that's why, especially for Vietnam or in Asia, I know ideas generation might be harder, so I'm going to try. So most people say, like, your competitor reviews, right? Check the Amazon reviews. I'm sure that's like a top thing in Amazon workshops, how to sell on Amazon, read your competitors' reviews. I do that too. I do. It's not like I don't, but I think next slide is boring. And next slide. There's tools now. It's a little blurry, but there's, again, I'm going to use a lot of different AI today, and this is more tactics. This is a tool called Seller Sprite, and they have an AI analysis of your competitor reviews. It's a bit blurrier today, but this is a report that it will generate from your Amazon listing, either your own or your competitors. And from this report, it says how many are men, how many are women, how many different, who they are, what they do, where they are, right? So this is, one of my brands is bar supplies, like kitchen and barware. And it says like home, parties, bars, right? It's the customers, actually women buy way more than men online. So actually, one thing I've learned is a lot of women buy for men. Like my wife buys for me a lot of stuff online because I'm lazy or I don't want to buy stuff. I think that's kind of common. So women buy more. But this gives you different ideas. It gives you summaries of the reviews, the good, the bad. So this saves me a lot of time. Plus it gives me demographic. So we're talking about the avatar. This can help me understand my avatar without having to guess or to try to do surveys or try to understand. So you can do this as a review analysis on Amazon reviews. Another for idea generation is answerthepublic.com. Free. There's a paid tool, but I've never needed to pay. You put a keyword in, maybe your product or some theme that you want to focus on. Next. It will generate this report here. And what it's basically doing is I put solar light. So there was a solar light factory in China I was helping. And it says, can solar light batteries be recharged? Can solar light... It's basically taking data from its sources, and it's giving me ideas of what people are asking, what people are learning about. So maybe I can use this for blog posts, for my Amazon listing, for educational purposes. So this is a helpful way, like how to keep it working, solar security light, right? So this is giving me ideas. So because a lot of times people say, I don't know what to make a content about. I don't know what content to make. So Answer the Public gives you tons of free ideas. Next. And of course, I'll be honest, I'm not an analytical person. I'm more of a artistic. So in my team, I'm not the Excel person. But I know it's very important on Amazon to go through Excel or e-commerce data. I like this more. So I like to brainstorm and create the concepts. But I know, especially in China and I think Vietnam, they're really good at data. So you can, of course, use the tools to get the data, but then I like to take that data and start to brainstorm. Right? So this was the beginning of Excalibur Brothers brand. And you can see we started even drawing the logo ideas, concepts. This is like the shield. And we started to think about the verbs, empower, bold, inspire, right? So we're getting this data, right? We're getting data from AI, from reviews, from competitors. We're reading brand stories. We're trying to find how we can position ourselves. And I like to write it all out to understand how I can position my brand and my product to be different. And I talk about this more in, I think, 102 with the case study. So, but the idea is you're getting ideas. So I think Emily says she takes, was it you? That takes a walk to get ideas? I think it was her. Right? Yeah. I like to take a walk. It's my favorite part, is the creating part. But it's where you start to review all this data, but you have to reflect on the data, right? You don't just take the data and directly make something. You have to process it. Next. And then you'll start to create your brand story. So this is one of our brands, Esato, the kitchen and barware. So you start to understand the values and the positioning of your brand from competitors. You start to you think about the customer. And so this is some old pictures of me in Italy. So I am an American, but I'm Italian American. So I show how I went to Italy and that I saw all the quality in Italy. And I wanted to, inspired by the quality of the food, the quality of the experiences of it. And I took this back to America and I made a Esato brand to make quality, perfection, precision. And that's what Esato means. It's like precision in Italian. So I give this story. I'm trying to think of my customer, which is actually more wholesale bars. Like, actually we sell small B, like B to small b. Technically, even on Amazon, a lot of our customers on Amazon buy more than one, right? They're buying like 5 for their restaurant. Maybe this place is coffee, but they might buy some products from me. So I'm targeting small businesses. This is just an example of what you'll start to create. So Excalibur Brothers, we have like all this stuff, even for preparing for today's presentation. Thou asked for my photo and my bio. I have a page like this for my own speaking things, but it just helps you. It's 2 things, right? One, of course, it makes it easier. I just send somebody the link of my logos or my files, but the most important is the brand consistency. If you look at brands, it's called consistent. We talked about this earlier. If you confuse people about your brand, then they'll be confused about, remember Jeff Bezos, what others say about you? You want them to know what you do very clearly. So you have to have your clear booklet, voice. I make videos for the factories, especially factories, I don't know about Vietnam, but in China, they don't understand branding at all. So I have to make it very clear why it's important and exactly how I want my logo, how I want my package. So I make very clear videos. You can watch these. I don't think I link it, but this is on my website, excaliburbrothers.com, under the resources. So we just share this very openly to be consistent. Also because the designer asks me all the time for my logo, white background, black background, transparent background, square, rectangle. So you have a zip of all your logos. So now AI again, AI is taking over, right? We have to make brands quickly and efficiently before AI starts making brands, because I'm sure there's going to be a day where they don't need me to speak here and I say make a brand for this avatar and it makes a whole brand. It's probably coming in 5 years. I won't be able to need to be speaking. I'll just be automatic AI making brands. So this is a way I use AI. I don't like to just you have to be very clear in AI prompt of what you want. AI is so powerful, but if you don't know how to ask it what you want, you won't get the right result. So one of my favorite ways, tone. Not Tony, Tony's there, but tone. Tone is one of my favorite ways of using AI. So I say, a customer got a broken product, and he's angry. And he's emailing us on Amazon. He's emailing us on our website. He's writing a negative review. He's going crazy. So I say, write a 300-word email to an angry customer about his broken product with our guarantee in the tone of a medieval king of England. Next slide. So I know it's hard to read. I'll just say, my esteemed customer, hail and well me, Michael, the sovereign of Excalibur Brothers, have received thy massive dismay over the unfortunate purchased product. Verily, I extend my deepest apologies for the vexation thou hast endured, as it pains me greatly to learn of such distress within my kingdom. Right? And it goes on. And even I can't write this as an English speaker. I mean, I know you're not native English speakers, but even I can't write this. Before AI, I had to find somebody on Fiverr to write stuff like this for me. But AI now, I can do this all the time. You can give your customer service person to the prompt, and you can reply like this every single customer, custom. So there's less and less excuses about English. I know that was an excuse before from China and other Asian countries, but there's less excuses for English now. Even I'm not good at editing my own English, so I use AI to clean my English also. Like sometimes I work with Chinese people, and sometimes they'll send me, Mike, is this email look good? I said, put it in AI. Don't ask me. Put it in AI. Even I don't know how to write that good. So tone is a fair one. And then comparison. We said what others say about you. You have to teach them what's different about you and your competitor. So a common thing on Amazon is the comparisons. I did remove this, honestly. My Chinese friends got really angry at me. So one girl says, "You're so racist." So I removed this. No, but you could say, I don't know. I think maybe some people in America might like Vietnam more than China, maybe. But you could put the flag, maybe, but maybe don't do that. I decided to edit this out. But you can show the differences of your competitors, right? You can make a comparison. Why is it different? What's the reasons? What's the benefits? Not only on the product itself, but the values maybe, or the origin, or the story. But comparisons is a really effective way to demonstrate to your customer what you are trying to be different about with your competitors. Packaging. I love my dad. I learned a lot from my dad. I miss my dad. He's still alive in America, and I talk to him, but I learned a lot when I was a kid. He's like, I wanted to buy a toy. And he's like, "You're paying for packaging. Packaging. This other one, the no-brand one is cheaper. You're just paying the expensive name brand for packaging. Packaging." Yeah, it's packaging. I mean, packaging, I think, is important. Or maybe it's more about your brand image. Is it important for your brand? So, meaning, is it important for your target customer? Are you trying to be the cheapest? Like this one, right? They don't care about brand. It says, "Our philosophy is to help our consumers understand the real value lies in quality of product, not in brand." That's what this guy. So they want to be the cheap one, right? This is cheap. Chocolate. This is cheap. But I don't want to be cheap. I want to be expensive. So I spend on packaging. This is one of our packaging Excalibur brothers. Again, we have a 102 that I'll go deeper into packaging. But maybe a little bit, go back a little bit about this. Just some ideas of this brand. Brown, castle, outside wall. Red, inside, red carpet. Castle welcomes you into our castle. You buy our package, you open it, the red carpet, welcome to your kingdom. This is part of our story. You think of the iPhone, I think they've even trademarked the sound, the packaging. You can actually trademark packaging. I forgot the name. It's not the same as a trademark, but you can protect your packaging. But it's like, you ever get an iPhone? It's like, it pops. That's part of their brand. It's not like random. That's not by mistake. Apple designed the iPhone to make that when you open the iPhone. Part of your thinking, especially when you first get your product, that's really the first impression, right? And also, people think packaging doesn't matter for e-commerce. I used to not care about packaging. In my eBay days, eBay didn't seem to matter. Or maybe I wasn't good on eBay, but I didn't have packaging, I had white box. But it's really good for the main image on Amazon. So next. So this is one of our listings. You can find this, and we'll have a case study in the next 102. But notice we have the package right here in the main image, right? So we're a gift. Excalibur Brothers is a gift. We are targeting women. Maybe Claire can buy this for her husband. She's searching on Amazon, gift for my husband, gift for Father's Day coming up this Sunday. Father's Day, I don't know if you celebrate it. Father's Day gift, Christmas gift, birthday gift for man, birthday gift for husband. The woman reads this, the packaging they want. They pay for packaging. All right? And my Chinese competitors, right? There's a lot of Chinese competitors on Amazon selling the same product cheaper. And they're like, how is this guy selling more than me? I'm so cheap. I sell like 3 times more cheaper. You can get 3 of 6 instead of 2 for cheaper because of the packaging. Because it's a gift. They don't want it in like a plastic bag in like in a envelope. They want it in a nice little box and a package. They want that. They pay for that. Akatai is one of our other brands. It's not as expensive packaging. Excalibur Brothers, we spend a lot on packaging. This we don't spend as much, but we have a standard box that we can use for all of our jewelry, or we have 2 or 3 different sizes for our jewelry. This is like earrings and other women's products. But we do have packaging, and people do notice if you read some of our reviews, you'll see they like our packaging, even though it's simple. Next. And then this is a Sato brand. So you notice we have this standard bar mat. But we notice the box, you see, on the main image. And we tested this. My partner, JV partner, the factory, he didn't think this was necessary. So we made this bigger and we removed the box. Sales went down. So we put the box back. But in my opinion, packaging stands out because this looks the same on the search on Amazon, and they all look the same. But you can have your package, can have your brand, your differences from your competitor. So I always try to put packaging on my main image. And then Plumipas, the dried flower one, small, very, 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 very small brand, still just kind of getting built up. But see, we have this package. And it's also, we get the same package for all of the products. So we put a clear window, so we don't need to make lots of different packaging. So again, it depends on your brand. The Excalibur Brothers, we spend a lot of money on packaging. Okay, so AI, again, I try to use AI a lot. So that's me in my work in the green screen. And there's these AI tools now that can change me to him, or him, or him, or anything. So I know a lot of times you say, like, I need the white model, and the customers is white, or black. Actually, I think black is really good. I think there's a lot of black, I don't want to sound racist, but African American customers on Amazon. So I think black is also good, but you can have all these different people. Next slide. Snook. Snook works with us in Thailand on our team. Snook, next, is now Snook. So I know you can have one model. You don't have to spend so much money with all the different models. And maybe in Hanoi, it might be hard to find models for your brand. So you can have your one worker in your company. And also Snook is happier because she doesn't want to be on the photo. She's shy. So she doesn't need to be on the photo. Or I don't want to be on all the photos. I don't care, but I don't want to always be the same person on all my photos. Because it looks weird, and it's nice, so I can change myself. I can do it. So this is stuff you can do now with AI and with branding. We're laying the foundation. I think we're getting towards the end of the 101 today. But the point is, there's so much you can build, but this is more mindset, some tactics. What we're trying to build is the foundation. So I think it's best explained by this. So at the beginning, we had the evergreen. That's more like a Western in the US. But in Asia, right, the bamboo. So I don't know if people know how a bamboo forest is grown. But what I'm told is it grows underground for many years, a long time. It takes a long time to grow the roots of a bamboo. And it's nothing above the ground. It's just growing under the ground for a long time. And then suddenly they start to come up, the bamboo trees, and build a hole very quickly, much shorter than the roots. But also suddenly a whole bamboo forest appears. And people feel like, wow, where did this bamboo forest come from so suddenly out of nowhere? But it spent a long time making the roots, the foundation. And then it's fast to make all the forest. So I feel this is similar to building a brand. The foundation is very important. Understanding your customer, the packaging, the avatar, the content. But once you have that, you can make many products. You can make many channels. You can go to Amazon, you can go multi-channel, you can go everywhere. But you have to get the foundation first. So just to kind of recap today, we went through the 4W. What is a brand? Why start a brand? When to start a brand? And then we spent more time on the ways to start branding. And I hope this was helpful to you. We are going to do some Q&A. I hope people put Q&A in that scanner thing. Or if you can answer questions as well, you can maybe just shout out questions. But I hope this was helpful. We have 102s and 103s. And honestly, even I'm still a student of branding. It's an ongoing process, but we'll have more sessions after. So I hope this helped. Thank you so much. Just a little bit about what I do. So I do a podcast. It's all free. It's in English, not Vietnamese, sorry. Or it's a little bit of Chinese and WeChat. But we have a membership. It's a very small membership, English language online. This is the book I wrote about starting an Amazon brand from beginning to sale. It's on Amazon Kindle. I do JVs, so some of the partnerships I have with brands, I partner with factories in Thailand and China. And then we have Cross-Border Matchmaker and Cross-Border Summit, maybe on the next slide. November 3rd to the 5th in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So I'll be flying there on Friday. I leave Hanoi to Chiang Mai, but we're going to do it second year here. We did it for 4 years in China before COVID. So I'm considering doing it in Vietnam, but more likely 2025. We're talking to people here. There's definitely a great community, but for this year, 2024, we already have great speakers lined up, mostly coming from overseas, and it's a great time. It's 3 days in Chiang Mai, so it'll be great to see some of you there. It's an international conference of sellers from around the world. So thank you so much.
Save the date. Cross-Border Summit 2024 is coming back. 2023's was epic. Never got such great feedback in all of our events. Cross-Border Summit 2024, we're planning already a year in advance. Save the date. November 14th and 15th will be the core event, but of course, it is a full week of amazing things. There's pre-events, post-events, workshops, trainings, elephant sanctuaries. We have a lot of amazing things here in Chiang Mai, Thailand again. So I would love to see you there. We've already pre-sold some tickets to previous people. We will be opening up tickets soon. Subscribe to get updates at 2024.crossbordersummit.com. Also check out videos and testimonials from last year as well as all of our years. We did them in China, and this will be our 6th one. It will be great to meet you there and network and make some great relationships. I can't wait. November 2024.
All right. Wow, that was nice. That was really nice event out there, Mike. Like, I'm pretty sure people who actually joined the event would have a lot of like takeaways from your speech alone. And that's really nice feeling for you to be able to like share your knowledge to everybody, you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds morbid. I don't know if I'll say it, but there was a video I saw, like, I don't know, on one of my feeds, Twitter, I check more lately. And it was a woman, she says, in 100 years, we'll no longer be at least where we are now in Earth or in our current form. Who knows spiritual other forms, but at least in our physical form, it won't be here. Our houses won't be here. Maybe it'll still be there, but somebody else lives there. All the cars, all the material things. But what I think is I feel like I try to invest in people. I'm so proud of you, Yesha. You've been really learning a lot and growing, and I can't take too much credit for that, but others on the team have helped, like Sally and others, and you yourself have been learning. But like I think this is one of the best investments is in people, right? And educating people
Yes.
and so it was really powerful for me to be able to reach those people in Vietnam and work with Amazon Global Selling and World First and others there. And there was local community leaders. Like I said, one's name was Tony, and he runs a huge community of Amazon sellers in Vietnam that are doing a lot of growth and business on in Amazon, mostly US market. And we had lunch after, and it's fascinating. But a lot of them are. It feels like basically it feels like China. They say like it feels like China 10 years ago.
Oh,
Is kind of what they say, and I kind of agree generally with that in Vietnam. It's
good thing.
meaning it's like younger, it's not as developed. Just the communities are developing, the people are developing, the skills are developing.
Starting to get there.
Yeah, they're getting there. Yeah,
Well, that's
so
good. You're trying to make a legacy. Like people there will be able to remember your name. They will be like, "Oh, Mike was the one who shared us this and that." That's
I,
good. That's good at least.
I don't know. Some people ask me why I even do it because we're a seller ourselves. Actually have a call with our Amazon team and after this, and I mean, but I don't know. I like to just to share. And they say sometimes the best way to be a student is to be a teacher.
Right.
I
Like,
think when you teach something, you have to learn it even better or understand it so well that to be able to share something, you have to know it so well yourself, right?
right. That's right. Like you don't stop learning as what they said. Do you
Yeah.
agree? Yeah. Well, did you go to some other places after the event? Did you try to like
Well,
enjoy yourself there?
just a little. Yeah, I mean, we give some extra time to this. So I don't even know if you're maybe for you or others. Even I wasn't so familiar with city names, but I went first to Ho Chi Minh, which is also another name. It's called Saigon, and that's in the south of Vietnam. So I
Mm-hmm.
flew there from Hong Kong after the China trip, the previous show we had with
Right.
Brian and Easy China Warehouse. We did that deal, and I learned
Oh
about
yeah, I
even
remember.
deeper into logistics. After that deal, I went from Hong Kong to Ho Chi Minh, which is in the south. We actually
Mm-hmm.
did another meetup, a smaller event at Amazon's office in Ho Chi Minh. It was a closed event just for Amazon and some VIP
I saw that
sellers.
too. Mm-hmm.
And I actually prefer the south of Vietnam over the north. So this session you just listened to, the Branding 101 was in the north in Hanoi. So I flew
Oh,
afterwards from Ho Chi Minh in the south to the north, which is Hanoi, which is where we did this workshop. And I I had never flown domestically, meaning like within Vietnam. I always flew internationally to those two cities.
oh, yeah,
So it was
yeah,
my
yeah,
first time to do it. Like just like in the Philippines, you fly from like Cebu to Manila or
yeah, yeah. Oh, you
Davao.
haven't done that before.
I've done that in the Philippines a lot, but I've never done
Oh,
it in Vietnam.
in Vietnam. How was the
And
experience for that?
it was kind of crazy because I was a little
Crazy.
bit scared,
Crazy in a bad way or in a good way?
well, maybe you can tell me, but first of all, I'm super busy and I'm like working and I had the flight and I didn't really get time or I didn't spend the time to research about the airport. So I just went to the
Right.
international airport thinking it was the same, but it's a different airport for domestic. And
Mhm.
I was trying to tell the driver, it's actually very confusing because there's multiple taxi apps now in
Right.
Vietnam. There's Grab, but there's a local one that I can't even say the name that I was trying to use.
Oh,
And then I
tricky.
miscommunicated to the hotel lobby because I
Oh,
said can you help me book a taxi? And I showed her my phone because I didn't know what airport to put in. I said I was trying to get her to help me.
yes.
And then she just got the bellboy to get a street taxi for me,
A cab, like from the
like
outside.
from the road.
Oh, yeah, from the
Yeah.
road.
So then I was waiting there actually because they're also checking my room because I was checking out and they wanted to make sure I didn't like break anything. So I had to wait for them to check my room. And then I'm pretty good. I don't break my room. So they said, okay, that's okay. But then they said, oh, sir, the taxi's here. And I was like,
Mhm.
wait, didn't you put it in the phone? Because I think I even left the phone on the desk. And she's like, no, sorry, I got the normal taxi.
Mm.
So I got a normal taxi because I didn't want to cause a trouble. I don't know if it
You
mattered.
could have done it yourself if that's what you were looking for, right? You could
Yeah,
have
I
just,
could have just done that myself, but I guess
right. She probably
guess
didn't.
understood me. Yeah, there's not as English is not as much as like Philippines or other
Uh,
countries. So
well,
so
regardless, I think you did enjoy anyways.
well, yeah, I had fun, but basically I went to the international, then I try to ask the driver and he says, "Oh, it's not far." Then I go inside and then there's like security check and then I try to like explain, and then I go to luckily it's like a 10-minute walk. You could walk, but I had to
Like,
go to another building and
yeah,
it
that's
was
like
way different. It was way local. It was way local. It was like a local airport. And they're so strict about luggage, way more. I don't know if it's like that in the Philippines now, but I don't remember being that strict. They weigh everything. And they like, even if you have even like every little bag you have, they make you weigh. Like every bag. Like your
that's
shop, your
good.
food bag, right? Your like water, your laptop
Oh,
bags. So I was like a little bit over by like 1 kg instead of 8 or 9.
what did you do? Have to pay for extra, I suppose.
I don't know. I'm like kind of like this. I don't know. I have this issue with it, and it was like only 1 kg, and he's told me to go pay over to the other
Somewhere.
counter,
Yeah.
but he gave me my boarding pass. So I was like, if you gave me my boarding pass, but he didn't give me the sticker to put on my bag that says.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna go to the check-in. Screw this. I'm not gonna go to the other one.
You didn't pay.
Yeah, I didn't pay. So then
Okay.
I walked into the red. I guess they didn't check if I have the sticker on my bag or if they,
Mhm.
so they just let me go in and then but I mean, it's like 1 kilogram difference. And then anyway, so I didn't, and then it was so scary. Like there's TV monitors that are in
Mhm.
anybody that's been to that. It was Ho Chi Minh Domestic Airport, but they changed the gate and there was
Right.
two flights to Hanoi at almost the same time. And then I went to one line and then they're like, "Oh, sir, you're on the other flight."
Mhm.
And I got all scared because I was waiting in this line for a while and people were getting onto the bus to go to the plane. And I was like, did I miss my flight? And then I showed some, I think she was an Irish woman. There was two Irish women. And they're like, "Oh, your flight is before ours. You must have left already." And I was like, what? Yeah, I was like this. So anyway, it was a little stressful, but
Great.
then luckily they had misunderstanding too, and I didn't miss my flight, but I go another line. But there's just no screens anywhere. It's like you don't have there's only like a couple of screens that are not near the gate.
Yeah. There's
So
nowhere to check like
yeah, you
where
can't
you
see it.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you're gonna
anyways,
guess.
but I
Anyway.
did I tried to enjoy it, but I was mostly working conferences and
Yeah.
workshops, but I always mix pleasure and business. So I
Yeah.
got some food. It's like even after the workshop, they treated me to a nice lunch with the sellers, and I had a lot more local Vietnamese food than I've ever had before. But yeah,
Crazy experience yet fun, I suppose. So
I just kept
I,
telling myself like I used to enjoy this. I've been on the road. Like I'm getting older. I just feel like I feel younger, but I'm actually older. My body's not the
you can
same.
be young at heart. Oh, you can be old physically, but you can be young at heart.
True.
Well, do you have any plans? Where is your next stop after this?
Next week I go to Brussels, Belgium, in Europe. Um,
You're gonna finally do your Europe trip.
Yeah, it's a conference, just one city. Somebody's trying to tell me to go to Spain to meet them for 3 days, but I'm just going to stay in Brussels, Belgium. And it's
Okay.
for a crypto conference. We're going to be pitching this our project Load Pipe in Hamza Marketplace. So yeah,
Okay, well, guys, what to expect next time, Mike in Belgium talking about crypto. But as of now, we're gonna have to focus to this branding 101.
yeah,
Make sure you watch this and you'll be able to have takeaways. I'm pretty sure about that.
yeah. I try to keep it real, and people like
Yeah,
that. So I think even if you have a current brand, I think you can learn from it. So it's also globalformedia.com/branding101.
that's
Hopefully you
right.
don't use that one before, but I think it's
And
all
guys,
right.
don't forget, CBS is on
Yeah,
November. Get your tickets, guys.
it's gonna
Save
be epic. We haven't really released a speaker list, but we have some great ones lined up. And
right.
actually, I don't know if I showed you, Yesha, but my one of our previous speakers, Ken Chan, in China, sent me some ideas to do some new content ways, some new interactive. We're gonna try some new things too. So it's always gonna be epic, and people will get a lot of value. So
Yeah. Oh, and we're gonna update our website soon. You'll be able to see there like the agenda and things like that. So yeah,
Perfect.
thank you for that.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Really pleasure to have you.
Okay.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.